Hi guys, in this video I would like to make you aware of this amazing plugin for Final Cut Pro, and it is absolutely free. There is no strings to it, and I'm going to demonstrate like one or two uses that I've used it for, and it is really useful to know about. If you've not got it already, I recommend that you definitely get it. So I'm going to go into this project here, basically demonstrate the use of using mCameraRig. Download it, install it, and then you will find it. You go to this tab, it's in your title section, and you'll find it here under your titles, mCameraRig. It does like a zoom in effect, a very smooth zoom in. I will drag it over, see there, and we can adjust the length of it, and you see there it zooms right in, so we have to adjust some settings. So you click on it, and we find the settings under the text section, and you've got all these features here. In animation, out animation, we'll just go through that in a minute. And this is the position, this is the amount it zooms in. Okay, so what I like to do to start with, we've got like a depth of field blur, which you see it blurs like that, and it's just too much. It's in this occasion it doesn't. I just don't like it. I always put it down. And now you see it zooms in, but it's way too much. That's way too much to zoom in. So I know from experience, if I put this like to -100, it's a better effect for this kind of video, what I want to achieve. So, you know, we see we're getting there now. So we start at the beginning, and you see this little target, this circle, not the green one, this one here, we move about. And this basically is going to tell it to where it's going to zoom into. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to put it around here and see how that looks. So we'll play it, and you see now that's not too bad, but I'm not happy because it's took the frame out and it's left some gray space. To fix that, we need to adjust these parameters, the camera X and Y position, so you can do that with that to get that right. So I'm just gonna reset that for a minute. So what I will do for my short is something like this, and you see it zooming in there. So I'm gonna put it there, zooming in, and you see I'm not quite happy. So if I do like -150, around, we'll see how it looks. Just gonna play around with it, and you see it's zoomed in a little bit too much for what I want, but I might be able to adjust this and get a bit of a better effect. Okay. This plugin is really useful as well for like tutorials and like this, and zooming in to highlight certain points. You may see it in different tutorials when it zooms into certain areas. But you can see the power of it there. It just adds a nice effect. That's with it off, it's like that. With mCameraRig on, it's like that. So what I do, I tend to add some music to it, and it just gives like a nice effect and makes a nice little video for a short, you know, in this case. So I may or may not be happy with that. I may just tinker with that. What you can also do is keyframe. So the way this keyframe works on mCameraRig is you've got to start at a point like this. If I want it there, then you press this little icon to keyframe. Okay, and now as I play it, I can move this to different positions, and each time I move it, it automatically keyframes. It keyframes it. Okay, so we can do that one more time. That's 4 keyframes. You know, it's not going to be a good effect this time. I wouldn't advise messing with this at first. I just like to do a very basic without any keyframes. But you can see that's 4 keyframes. How do we know that's keyframe? Where do we see the keyframes? Well, we need to press Control V. And if we're not happy with the keyframes, we can delete them. But we have to press Control V, and we see our keyframes here, there. So we can just, if we want to start again, we press highlight it to yellow, delete, highlight it to yellow, delete, highlight it yellow, delete. and even the keyframe there. So now Control V again to close that. That's very useful to know, the Control V to show the keyframes. You know, there's a whole load of settings you can do. I only know the very basics of it, but the point of this video is to show you and make you aware of mCameraRig, and one of the use cases, it can just add to some videos rather than just having it like, you know, just like that. And also worth noting is you can adjust the size of it, is how fast it will zoom in. So yeah, we do that. You see, it's really quickly. You know, that's too quick. That's too quick. To get a slower effect, we need to drag it out a bit. But that is like way too fast. Way too fast. So the thing is, if we want it shorter and that's too much, then I'd go to minus 100. So I think that's not too bad, but I would like it to be spread out a bit more. What I've not mentioned so far, I mean, that's just going off frame, so we don't want that. What I've not mentioned so far is at the end of it, you notice it zooms out. This zooms in pretty quickly, and this zooms out. We can stop that if we want to. You see this here, what I mentioned at the start, in animation, so that won't do the in. I mean, I recommend the in just is the essential thing. You want that initial, you know, focus in. But the out one is more optional. I find sometimes I like to turn that off rather than it zooms out. So I'll turn this off, and you see it just ends like that and goes back to the original frame. So you might not always need to have it zooming out. Like I said, there's a whole lot of other settings, you know, there's a world at your oyster with this, zoom in functions, and you can get some really, really cool effects with it. If you have videos where you just want to do basic zoom in, like to text like this, all you've got to do is basically drag it over and drop it. Maybe some 1 or 2 tweaks, but nothing much. And basically, that's a very nice effect for your workflow. So that's it for today. Thanks for listening, and please subscribe and hit the like button if you feel like it. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.